Yep. What's goody team? Welcome to tonight's isolation session for September 10th. Wednesday, September 10th. Getting ready for the Thursday session. Just gonna give everybody another couple minutes to join and then we will get started. As always, the pairs that we're gonna go over are the ones that you see on the right hand side of your screen, starting off with AUD-USD, right? The ones with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUD-USD, finishing off with US oil. Not a lot to talk about, but I say that with a grain of salt because even though there was no trades, right? The market gave a lot of moves today. Whether there were good moves to take trades or moves to be able to understand where the inducements are happening and where and when to avoid trades to take, the market did give us a lot of that. So we'll talk about them. Kendall says, "Stop cheating, man. I can't, bro. It's in my blood. It's in my blood." We'll talk about the pairs that we got to talk about as always. Again, a lot of these pairs are either consolidating, right? They're either in peak highs or peak lows, or they're moving counter trend, right? So very similar market conditions to April and May of this year, right? If you guys go back and go look at my trading journal, you guys will see that the month of April and May really had no activities, right? Didn't really take any trades. We're just being patient. And again, the market conditions are very important, right? Understanding when the market is consolidating and when you should just stay away from taking trades is key to your success in trading, right? Patience plays a huge role, or patience plays a huge role in trading, right? Now again, it might be different for a lot of other people. Again, I'm a day trader. I try to catch the move for the day. That's all it is. I'm not a scalper, right? Not really a swing trader. Whatever other things that people trade, it's not what I do, right? I don't buy stocks and hold them for 3 months. I try to take a trade and get paid out as soon as I take that trade, right? So we'll break down the pairs that we got to break down. Seems like today's going to be a slow day for people to be here. So again, we'll give everybody till 7:10, 3 minutes to join. Any questions, let me know. For the people watching the recording, I know there's a few of you. If you guys have any questions, I had a nice conversation earlier today with, very early in the morning with somebody who had a question from yesterday's or last night's isolation stream. So if you guys watching the recording, if you have any questions, feel free. Again, you could join the Discord. You could leave the questions in the Discord. You can message me on Discord. You can message me on social media, whatever you guys feel the most confident, comfortable messaging me. Twitter, X, Instagram. You can message me on Discord. I'm active pretty much all day, every day. So whenever you guys need me, whenever you guys have a question, whenever you guys need me to do like a little breakdown, or if you guys took a trade and you need a little bit of a confidence boost on the trade that you took, I'll always be available for you guys. So again, gonna give everybody another 2 minutes to join. 7:10, we will get started. Any questions in the meantime, let me know. Any pairs in specific that you guys want me to go over, whether or not they're on our list, let me know and we'll go over those. If they're not on our list, we'll go over it towards the end of the stream once we finish. Again, the pairs that we will be going over are the ones that you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name. So gonna give everybody the chance to join and then we will get started. Again, personally for me today, didn't take a trade, right? Wasn't really interested in the market today. A lot of consolidation. Price is just trapping traders. A lot of crazy candles were printed today as well. We'll see that on GU, EU. We'll even see it on US 30 for a little bit. Not really sure on the other pairs. Don't really remember what other pairs gave some crazy wicks at 8:30, 9 a.m. in the morning. So again, we'll go over it one by one. Whatever we have to talk about, we'll talk about it. If we just skip over them, then that means that there's really nothing to talk about. Alright, we good to go? No questions in the chat? Seems like it's gonna just be me and you, Kendall. Yes, sir, ski. Normally how it always is, facts. Now, Jessica, I think I saw Jessica message this morning, or like she sounded like a little, uh, sound like a reaction to one of the posts that we made. So hopefully we'll have her back here soon. I know Vanessa said she'll be back soon too. She just needs to finish. She just got to get her schedule right. So we'll have Jessica back. We'll have Vanessa back. Adrian, Bashir, Muhammad, they're usually always in here. Albert, I haven't spoken to Albert in a while. I have to message Albert today, actually. I'm actually going to do that right now before I get started. I sent him a message at the beginning of the month. He hasn't replied. Invited my coworker to join. She kind of cool, but kind of cool? What does that mean? She a little cool? I think she'll take it serious. Man, I hope so. There was 2 people I spoke to today. Some people who do sales for solar panels, and I gave them the link to the Discord and the YouTube channel. Seems like they were interested in joining, so let's see how that goes. The one dude, I gave him the analogy I always give people, whenever people say, yo, but I've heard day trading is difficult, and I was like, yo, before you started selling solar panels, right, sales in general, before you started doing it, this shit was mad difficult. But you gained an interest in it, you got better at it, and now you know how to pitch, you know how to sell stuff to people. He just looked at me, he's like, damn bro, you right. I'm like, yo, that's the same way with everything in life. He started speaking to me about the gym. I didn't tell him anything about the gym, I just gave him that one little piece. But same thing with the gym. He's like, yo, I fell in love with the gym. I'm like, yo, the gym is mad difficult. The problem is, for you, it's not difficult because you have a passion for it. You're motivated to do it. You're disciplined enough to do it. Right? And I gave him the analogy of doctors. I'm like, you speak to a surgeon who's been a surgeon, who's been a doctor for 10+ years. He's gonna tell you, nah, this isn't difficult. This is my job. It's not difficult for him because he put in the time to learn everything he had to do to be a surgeon. Right? But yes, in life, everything is difficult. It's just whether or not you want to put in the time to learn it. That's the mindset that a lot of people are stuck in. Like, oh, it's too difficult. But everything is difficult. You go work at McDonald's, you never used a cash register before. It's difficult. That's why you train, right? That's why you go to work, and the first 2 weeks that you work at any store, you train for the first 2-3 weeks, depending on what you're doing, right? It could be a month of training. It could be a month and a half of training. It could be 2-3 weeks of training. Either way is difficult because you've never done it. But you sit there for 2 weeks, 6 to 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, to work, to train. After those 2 weeks, you know how to do it. Boom, perfect. It's the same way in trading. It's not going to take 2 weeks. It's going to take a little bit longer. Same thing when you start the gym. In the gym, you're not going to see results in 1 week. You're going to see results maybe after 5, 6, 7 months, maybe 8 months, depending on your figure, depend how you eat. Are you calculating your macros, your micros? Are you calculating the calories you're intaking, right? Your protein, right? All of that takes time to learn and to develop. But for some reason, a lot of people are stuck in a mindset where, oh, this is too difficult. No, it's not difficult. You're just not motivated or disciplined enough to do it. That's really what it is. Nothing in this life is difficult, man. And that's the one thing that I will always say, like, the school system has messed with us for so long to make us believe that everything is difficult besides going to school for 4 years in high school to then go to college and do that for another 4 years, and then if you want to continue for your master's or your doctorates, then you got to go for another 6 years, and then you get a degree, and you're already 26, 30 years old, and you still haven't really worked because you've been fucking going to school full time for the last 15 years of your life. That's difficult. But again, to somebody who likes school and enjoys going to school and has a path and has a goal of what they want to do, it's not difficult for them. It's part of the process. So, that's really what it is, bro. Everything in life is difficult. It doesn't matter what you do, everything is difficult. It's just whether or not you put in the time to want to learn the skill, to learn the craft. Everything is difficult. So, I hope that resonated well with them. And I think it did. They were cool people as well, so. She says she want to retire soon. I told her retiring off trading is definitely possible. Treat it like school. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, especially if she's that age already where she could retire and she's talking about retirement. Like, yo, she ain't got nothing else to do. You got nothing else to do, yo. You're gonna retire and then do what? Go travel? What happens when that money stays low? You're gonna stay home all day? Yo, learn another skill. Get the money you have on your 401k and start fucking building, man. Not only will you be financially free, but you'll be free of the system, bro. You'll have time to do whatever the fuck you want to do all day. You don't gotta slave out. You don't gotta work for nobody. Wake up, take a trade if there's a trade. If there's no trades, go on to the next day, man. That's really all it is. Damn, I've been talking shit for 7 minutes already? That's insane. So, yeah, man. That's always one thing. I don't really speak to people about what I do, but they were asking what I do and shit. I was like, oh, I'm a trader. I should have told them, but I don't do shit, bro. I'd be fucking bored as fuck, especially the last 3 weeks. Yo, what do you do for work, bro? Nothing. I fucking don't work, man. It's been like what? When was the last trade we took? Let's open up the trading journal real quick. What day was the last trade? Google Sheets. Why didn't it pop up? Oh, there you go. Last trade we took was the 27th of August. Damn, man. We got rent soon, man. So that's the shit, bro. Oh, and I should have, since we talked about, the month that price was just consolidating, right? So you guys could see that I'm not just talking shit. This is all documented, right? You can see January was a pretty good month. February was a really good month. March was a decent month, nothing too crazy, right? March was the beginning of the drought. Very slow month, right? So from March, right, we took 2 trades in March. April, we took 4 trades. May, we took 2 trades. And it was at the end of the month, right? So again, the same market conditions that we had from March to May is the same market conditions that we're currently seeing for the month of September, right? So we just want to be patient. Just want to be patient. I'm not going to give no losses to the market. I'm not going to give no money back to the market. I'm going to let the market do what it has to do, and that's it. If that means we're not going to take a trade for another couple days, then so be it, man. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Not every day is a trading day. Just got to be patient. Stay on the charts. Whenever there's an opportunity available for us to take a trade, then we take a trade. If there's no opportunity, then it is what it is. We go on for the next day and we look for another opportunity the next day. Right? Today's Wednesday. We still have tomorrow. We still have Friday. We still have all of next week. We have the week after that. There's no rush. There's no rush at all. Damn, bro. I really wanted to give everybody a few minutes to join, but if it's just gonna be us, Kendall, I'm gonna just fly through this. We'll talk about what we gotta talk about, but give everybody 1 more minute. 7:21. We will get started. Sad day, man. Maybe everybody's mourning Charlie Kirk's death, man. That's why they didn't come to the class today. Shit is sad though, bro. For real, for real. The way that people feel so entitled, not even entitled, bro, but like The fact that somebody said something out loud and it made you feel some type of way to go and just do violence. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for people debating, you know? I'm all for that. So, we need debates. That's a good way to grow. But man, life could really just end that. It just one crazy person could really just end your life like that, man. Left a whole family behind, a wife, two kids, you know? Fuck. Don't even want to think about if his parents are still alive. Don't even want to talk about that, bro. Like, parents should never have to go through a death of a child, man. Don't matter the age. Dude was only 31 too. Fool was still young as hell. Still had his whole life ahead of him, bro. It's crazy to see, man. Crazy, crazy to see. But again, it all boils down to what I've always said, bro. Like, you know, everybody has a different mindset, end of the day, but, there's a reason why I stay very private about how I move and what I do, and I limit what people see online. Because I've seen it happen time and time again. All it takes is one person that gets very jealous for them to just feel like, oh, I'm jealous, I'm gonna go and end this guy. And that's just not, like, it's crazy, bro. It's a crazy life we're living in. Crazy life. But that's why you gotta move smart, bro. Gotta lay low. There's only a certain amount of people you could trust and talk to when it comes to shit like this. Because there's so much more to it that people don't see, right? There's a lot of friendships involved that, even your closest friends, they see that you're doing good, and then all of a sudden they don't want to speak to you no more. They feel some type of way. That shit sucks, and that's what I've been saying. With the streams, with especially specifically with Speed, right? Like, he's doing something that I would really never do. Going out in public, him being who he is, like, yeah, he has security, but there's only so much that security could do, right? But him being who he is, the power that he has, the money, the fame, it's a scary thing to do, bro. And for real, like, I hope him and everybody else who does like IRL streams the way that he does it, I hope they stay safe, for real. 'Cause that is a very scary thing, and it sucks. Like, we live in a time and place where you can't even really enjoy what you do without having to think about what other people are gonna do to you, right? How unsafe it is, and people just do stupid shit. Some again, like we saw it on yesterday's stream. Some guy went into the restaurant that he was in and just bashed the window. And it's like, yeah, we could say it was a mistake, but in that, we definitely could say it was a mistake. You see it in the video. It wasn't like he really did it on purpose. He was just excited and did what he did. But all it takes is one person to ruin a happy time for no reason. So yeah, Kendall, seems like it's just gonna be us, man. I wanted to give everybody a few minutes, bro. I'll give everybody another 30 seconds and then we'll get started. Again, if it's just gonna be us, Kendall, I'm gonna just do this quick. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, for the most part, a lot of these pairs are either moving counter trend or in zones of consolidation. So we just gotta be patient with it. Wait for price to get into our points of interest and then start looking for trades. Lock in, old man. Man, I'm locked, bro. Supposedly the FBI. I'm just scrolling through Twitter, bro. Like, this shit's crazy. Um, the FBI just tweeted the subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. But again, it's crazy, bro. It's always the same thing, you know what I mean? And it's a little different with him, compared to what happened with Trump a few months ago. But it's just crazy that somebody could just go up top of the roofs. I don't know if you saw that video, but um, some dude was just at the on the roof, fucking prone on the roof with a sniper, it looked like, and just fucking just did what he did, bro. But again, there's no, the craziest thing about it is, yeah, where they shot, yeah. The craziest thing about it is that there's no regular person, again, unless they have substantial training, who could shoot from that far range and just hit that type of shot. You know what I mean? But again, we've seen it happen time and time again. It's delusional for us to think any different. You know, they're gonna do the same thing that they did with the guy that did the shit with Trump. Nobody's gonna know who it was, or we'll get a picture of him, but we're not gonna have no other information. Who is he? Why did he do it? What was his motives? Did he have any training? And again, the weirdest thing with the guy who did it with Trump is he used to be in commercials with BlackRock, and it raises suspicion, right? Where it's like, why are they doing these things? And we already see why they're doing these things, right? It's to create commotion, right? To get people scared, to get people talking about this is why the left is better and this is why the right is better. But this has nothing to do with political parties. This has nothing to do with your political viewpoints. At the end of the day, is a human life. And anybody who's over here happy that this happened is, you know, you're crazy. Like, anybody who's happy that this happened is crazy, regardless of what they think of a person. It's just not. Again, this is why I don't claim no political party. This is why I don't talk about politics. Not only do I not talk about politics, but E is one to tell you I don't give a fuck about politics. It's something that, that's a conversation to have, and politics is something that the rich people go and do, the people who have power. And I don't care what my status is or will be in the next couple years. I'll never be rich enough and I'll never be powerful enough to care about politics. I stay in my own bubble. I live my life. It's a big reason why I'm my viewpoints on family and having kids, like, I fear that. I don't want to have kids, especially in a society where we're living now. Like, it would scare me to death to send my child off to school and get a phone call an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later throughout the day where, there was a shooter at the school. There's just too much going on in this world. There's too many crazy people. Luckily, I lived throughout high school in the seasons where school shooters were a big thing, and luckily I didn't have that happen to me in my school. But we went through the drills. We did what we had to do to make sure that we were good, and it was very scary. And a lot of these schools that did have school shootings or had fake calls and SWAT calls were high school next to mine, or high schools that were near where I used to live, right? And having friends in those schools, it's a very scary situation. So the fact that people are on social media talking about, oh, this is why left is right and right is, the left party and the right, like, this has nothing to do with that. And the fact that people are talking about it like Democrats are the reasons or Republicans are the reasons, that's the reason why I'm not affiliated with no political party. Because it doesn't matter what political party you go to, you're a human at the end of the day. You know, we could disagree and agree with what you believe is right or wrong, But at the end of the day, it'll just be a debate. I don't hate you for what your views are. I don't like you less. I don't like you more. It is what it is. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. And I'm not going to hate you for that. It is what it is. It's part of life. You're not going to agree with everybody. You're not going to disagree with everybody. You're going to have some things that you like, and you're going to have some things that you don't like about a person, and it is what it is. People talk shit about you. You don't have to go and shoot them. Yo, you're online. Turn off your fucking phone. Tyler the Creator said it best in the beginning of social media, and I remember seeing that tweet live. The fuck is cyberbullying? That shit's not even real. Turn your phone off. Like, and that's facts. Like, that's facts. So, more information, you could track the source. It might be an inside job. Yeah, that's what some people are saying. It's an inside job. There's people that are saying now that it's just a political assassination. And again, that could happen. Same thing that happened with John F. Kennedy. Same thing that happened with fucking Abraham Lincoln. Same thing that could have happened with Trump. It's a political thing, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you understand. Look, I had a moment in my life a few years ago where I wanted to get into politics because I'm a very driven person, and this is the last thing we'll say before we get started. Um, and I did a lot of my research, and within my research, you know, came all this information where I had to ask myself, is this worth it? For some people, yes. For some people, putting their life in danger, or putting their life in the front lines, people who enlist, that's a whole different conversation. I'm not even gonna fucking talk about the military, but it's one of those things where it's like, yo, do I care enough to put myself in that position? And truthfully, I don't. And a lot of people can say that I'm selfish, but it's all good. I would rather be selfish and living than not be selfish and have myself die. You know what I mean? Like, for no reason. And you gonna get drafted? Not me, man. I can't say what I want to say on stream, but man, they come knocking on my door. They'll say, "Yo, look left." I'm looking right. Shit. I'm missing a few brain cells, bro. I can't be enlisted, bro. Go look at my grades in school, bro. I can't. Sorry. You don't want me there. Um, yeah, bro. Long story short, end of the day, when my time is set to pass on to the next life, that's what it's gonna be, bro. And I always said this, bro. I hope that the afterlife is what a lot of people say is just you in another realm. I don't want to be resurrected. I don't want, a lot of people say that white light that you see when you die is you coming out as a new baby. I don't want to come back. Please, please, I don't want to come back. And when I'm gone, let me go. Let me go. I don't want to come back. And we'll end that conversation on there, bro. But I'm sure that a lot of these people in politics and the people who talk about politics, Alex Jones, all these other people, Ben Shapiro, obviously Mr. Kirk. I'm sure that they've put, Elon Musk, all these people, right, Trump, all these people in politics, but everybody who's involved in politics, they know what they're getting themselves into. And this is just one of those things that happen. And it sucks. It sucks. But when you really start thinking of the big picture of things, there's the conversation that we had in the Discord, even with we'll end this conversation on this, because this is, in my opinion, this is very important conversation to have. Gun reform is a big thing. Do I think it's a good thing? I don't think so. Because again, the people who want to harm people will always find a way to harm people. Right? Just because marijuana is illegal doesn't mean you're not going to find a way to go get marijuana. Just because all these other illegal drugs are illegal doesn't mean that you're not going to find a way to get these illegal drugs. With that being said, having gun reform, especially here in the States, just opens up the gates for more illegals to come in, right? It gives more business to the cartels, and it's gonna put us in a way worse situation, because now we're not only gonna be tracking drugs coming in from other countries, we're gonna be tracking MP5s and AK-47s and fucking Uzis and switches that are going to show up, and people are going to buy it from illegal vendors. And this is what people don't think about, right? Just normal humans don't think about this. The people who are thinking about this are people in power, the politicians who understand the game, right? So there's nothing that could be done. There's literally nothing that could be done. Because then, okay, yeah, but we're gonna have tighter security. Yeah, right. You understand how much money these cartels have to just pay off these people who are working in the military, who are only getting paid X amount of dollars? Like, we understand that our own veterans are living in the streets with PTSD. They're not even getting help from our government. So when you start putting things in perspective, of course these military people are going to be paid off $1 million and they're going to take it. Because after they retire, or after something, they get hurt and they're off of pension, and they're living off of just disability checks, it's not enough to live here. So you have to understand, like, people want gun reform. Yo, I would love for the government to be like, yo, you know what, let's do it. In less than 6 months, people will see how bad of a fucking decision that is. Now, I do agree. We definitely need some tighter rules as to who could purchase a gun and who can't. But all of that takes time and it takes money. And that's one thing that the US knows how to do, is save fucking money and spend it wisely. So we'll end the conversation on that, bro. People think is black and white, and is really not. There's a lot of things we have to talk about. There's a lot of things that we really got to put in perspective here. It's not as easy as people make it seem, and it's crazy to me that people don't see that. But again, it is what it is. Go to Bali, $100 rents. People who build guns nowadays, people don't really understand, bro. Like, it's like people think that, I don't even know what people think, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's just some things that I don't understand. It's the same thing in trading. Like, there's certain things that I don't understand, how people don't see things clearly. But it's just lack of common sense. It's lack of information, as always. What we've always said. It's lack of research. It's a whole bunch of things. But I'm not here researching all this information that I'm telling you. This is just common sense. Like, it makes sense when you say it out loud. It makes sense. So, it's, again, end of the story. End of the day, it sucks, right? The whole topic sucks. You know, today was a very, very bad day. Because, again, it doesn't matter what your political views are. It doesn't matter whether you agreed with what he said or not. At the end of the day, you have freedom of speech. And the fact that somebody just died over what he believes is true, you know, that raises the question. That's what I'm more concerned about. So we have freedom of speech, but if I speak my truth, I'm gonna get shot and killed for it. I'd rather not speak at all. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of conversations to have about what happened today. There's a lot of conversations to have, you know, to speak about what a lot of people are saying online, and, you know, happy that he's dead and he deserved it. You know, symbolism is a big thing. Symbolism is a big thing. And that's where we'll end this conversation. If you know what the definition of symbolism is, go look it up. You know, go look at why they did it to Abraham Lincoln. Go look at why they did it to John F. Kennedy. Go look at why they did it to Trump. Go look at why they did it to Kirk. You know, symbolism is a big thing, and it sucks that that's what had to be shown. You know, for somebody who's always speaking about, you know, the Second Amendment, and, you know, we should be allowed to carry, and this happened to him. there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. There's a lot of people are missing the point, which is, if this was a targeted thing that happened, it wasn't just a random person and he was somebody, again, a political assassination. There was other ways to go around this, because literally right after that happened, an hour later, there was a school shooting in Colorado that left 3 students in high school, I believe it was, left 3 students in critical condition. And this happens almost every day in America. And the fact that we needed to show the world more than that in order for people to start having this conversation is crazy in itself. So, common sense ain't common? No, it's really not. It's really not. Common sense is not common. Common sense is not common. So, we'll end it at that. This was a very dark day today. It doesn't matter what your political views are. You should be very sad about what happened today. You should be, and not even sad, but you should be scared about what the future holds. Civil war is something that could happen based on what happened today. And, I'm very upset, and I will end this on this. I've said this for the last 10 minutes. We've already been streaming for 40 minutes. I'm very upset at somebody like Elon Musk, who the first thing he tweeted was, this is a political race issue, talking about the Democrats, and this only happened because of the Democrats, or whatever it was that he said. For a very smart person, he's a fucking idiot for saying that. Because again, this has nothing to do with your political views. This has nothing to do with being a Democrat or being a Republican. This has to deal with you as a human. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your political views are. You are human. Right? And the fact that a lot of people can't be in a room with people that they disagree with is crazy to me. But again, maybe I'm the fucking alien that they've been looking for all this time. Maybe I'm the fucking alien, because you say this shit to people and they're like, huh? What? I don't know what you're talking about. So, maybe I'm the fucking alien. And for some reason I'm on Earth, man. And sometimes I wish that I was on another realm, bro, because holy shit. The things that just happen, it's funny, because when you're younger and you're in school and you're learning about how life was in the past, you think, oh, we live in the best time. And 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people are going to read in the history books what we've gone through in this generation, and they're going to be like, oh wow, we live in a good generation. But in reality, every generation, just something happens. It gets worse and worse, or not even worse, but like bad things always happen. Right? And that's a whole different conversation in itself, where we just need a fucking reset. Where a rock needs to come in and fucking take us all out. Like they did with the fucking dinosaurs, bro. Alright, so let's get started, man. We had a lot of bullshit talk today, so today's stream is going to be a long one just because of these conversations. But AUD-USD, we know we're in an overall downtrend. We're currently in level 3 on a downtrend, right? We have push 1, first zone of consolidation, push 2, second zone of consolidation. We had the break of structure of the zone of consolidation that gave us a lower low, and we're looking for a lower high to be set, right? We know we had 2 points of interest. Our first point of interest was the 800 EMA. Our second point of interest, where we're expecting price to give us a lower high to then continue that downtrend push, is this 30-minute gap that we have at the top of the market, right? Looking at the behavior of how price is reacting here at these highs, right? We know that we currently are at a 4-hour high, right? On the 4-hour time frame is where we wanted to see price. Once price reached the 800 EMA a couple weeks ago, right, we wanted to see price start the downtrend push. It gave us a nice change of character, lower low, lower high. On the push down to the next lower low for the break of structure, it gave us the inducement candle, right? It gave us inducement candles, never gave us a valid break, and continued to push to the top side. Now that we're back at the highs of the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price is still giving us inducement candles, it's giving us exhaustion candles, but when we go down into the 30-minute time frame, we can still see that price is giving us higher highs and higher lows. Right now, only did it give us a change of character back to the top side, but then it gave us a higher low. It gave us the valid break of structure to the top side, higher high, gave us another higher low, right? And this is where we wanted to see. Once price reached these 4-hour highs, we're like, okay, cool, right? What confirmations do we want to see? Price gave us a shoulder, head, shoulder. As soon as we saw that price gave us the inducement of the low, never gave us a valid break of the shoulder, gave us the inducement, it came right back to the top side and gave us another break of structure, higher high to the top side, right? So for AUD USD, just gotta be patient. Just gotta be patient. Again, I don't trade going counter trends. I only trade with the direction of the overall market maker's pattern. Since we are on a downtrend on AUD USD, I will only be looking for short positions. With that being said, as soon as price starts giving me lower lows and lower highs, as soon as price starts giving me confirmations that price will give us a push down to the bottom, that's when I'll start trading. So right now, just gotta be patient. I'm in no rush to take these trades. Just gotta be patient and go on to the next one. AUD CAD, very similar, right? Going into yesterday's market, let's start from the top to the bottom. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Right, AUD CAD, we're in the first zone of consolidation on an overall downtrend, right? We had push number one, and then we started consolidating. Price never gave us a break of the low, didn't give us a break of the high, so we know that price, again, every single time we get an inducement of the low, we go back to the top. Every time we get an inducement of the low, we go to the top. Every time we get an inducement of the low, we can see that price is now pushing to the top. So right now for AUD CAD, I will be waiting for price to go back to the top of the zone of consolidation to then start looking for these sell positions back to the bottom. So just have to be patient. And if we go down to the lower time frame, we could see that we were in a lower time frame zone of consolidation where price was moving sideways, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, right? Rejecting highs until we finally got a break of structure to the top side. So again, now that we have a break to the top side, it's all good. It just gives us more confirmation that price will continue this uptrend push, and we just have to be patient and wait for price to start giving us lower lows and lower highs before we take the trade, right? And again, very similar to AU, we had a little shoulder, head, shoulder. Price gave us a change of character. It never gave us the valid break. It gave us the inducement. As soon as it gave us the inducement, it went right back to the top side. So again, just have to wait for the confirmations, guys. Just have to be patient. Again, AUD CAD is moving counter trend, giving us these pullbacks back to the top side. As soon as we get back to the top of the zone of consolidation, or as soon as price starts giving us lower lows and lower highs, that's when I'll start looking to take those trades. So for right now, nothing on AUD USD and nothing on AUD CAD. Going on to the Euro pairs, we'll start off with Euro AUD. Euro AUD, we know we're in an overall uptrend on the market maker's pattern. We're in level 3, and we are expecting price to reach our previous peak highs at these highs over here. So we still have a little bit to go to the top side, right? We have push number 1, first zone of consolidation, push number 2, second zone of consolidation, push number 3, right? On the push to the top side, price gave us a higher high, higher low, and then price just started consolidating over here at these highs, rejecting these highs over here that we wanted to see price give us a break of, which we haven't gotten yet, right? On the 4-hour time frame, once again, price gave us an inducement of these highs, came right back down. Now again, for Euro AUD, I love what price is doing. Love what price is doing. It gave us a shoulder, head, shoulder, gave us the break of the shoulder, head, shoulder, gave us the retest, and continued back down to the bottom. So this was already our confirmation that we know that Euro AUD is just going to give us a steeper pullback on the higher time frame, and that's okay, right? It's all about being patient. As soon as we see price give us that higher low and it starts giving us the uptrend moves that we want to see, that's when I'll start looking to take these trades, right? And price gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and we're trading between this lower high over here and these lower lows over here. So again, just going to be patient with Euro AUD. As we can see on the 30-minute time frame, it looks like price wants to give us a little engulfing candle on the 30-minute time frame. So we'll come back and look at Euro AUD. It gave us a nice little exhaustion candle here at the 30-minute open. We have 3 days of drop already. After 3 days of drop, we know the market must move sideways or go up. So Thursday, this could be a nice trade for Euro AUD. Just a little pullback from the lower low going into a lower high. So going to definitely keep an eye on Euro AUD. See if we could take any trades here. Alright, we'll get this chart ready for this as well. So we have 8 minutes for this candle to close. What time is it? 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. we'll come back to this chart. Let's try to not forget. Actually, I'm gonna set an alarm for 7:59. Set an alarm for 7:59 p.m. Why all one move? We got a clean break in 38. So let me. This is like the second time or like a few times that you've said that already. When it comes to the pullbacks, a valid pullback isn't always going to be a 38.2. Right? We did get a clean break, but this isn't a significant pullback. We could see that all of this is part of the same trend. Right? Because remember, on a lower time, whenever you're looking at a trend, right, you know that you're looking for lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? In the moves to the downtrend, it's not just going to be clean red candles. Right? You're going to see internal lower lows and lower highs. Right? So the lines that you see that are just super smooth, right? Inside of those lines, you're always going to have internal time frame making lower lows and lower highs. This isn't a different move, right? How do I explain? Like, this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? We can't say that this is lower low, lower high, lower low. All of this is part of the same trend. So we're saying lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? Not every single time, every single pair is different. You got to remember that. Right? Not every single pair is going to give you a significant pullback on a 38.2 retracement or higher. Right? You could be looking at, for example, US 30 is a very big pair. Right? Just because US 30 gave you a lower high or a higher low on a 38.2 retracement doesn't mean it's a significant pullback. Right? You always got to look at the trend. Right? And the fact that you could see that all of this is just part of one move is just straight to the bottom side. It never gave you a significant pullback. Does that make sense? So you always got to make sure that it's a significant pullback when you're looking at the trend. Right? Does it make sense for this to be a lower high over here? And it doesn't. Right? All of this is just part of one move. Let me know if that made sense, Kendall. You just always got to be aware of that, right? Same thing with when you're trading GJ, or same thing when you're trading gold or Bitcoin, right? Yeah, you might have a lower high on 38.2 on Bitcoin, on gold, on US 30, on GJ, but is it a significant pullback? That's really what it is, right? If you don't have a significant pullback where you could see that price gave you a nice pullback and price stopped and gave you a pullback, if you don't have that, then it's all part of the same trend. So that's the reason why I'm not marking this as lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? And we can see it here. Like, would it make sense for us to call this a pullback when we could see that these pullbacks on EA are the size that they are? Right? We went from steep pullback back down. Right? A steep pullback back down. Right? This is a nice little pullback. Right? Back down. Hey, Esther, how are you? Sorry, I couldn't really see real because my monitor was blurry. But what's up, Esther? Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm looking at it, just getting used to different pairs. Yeah. So that's really what it is. You know, again, every single pair has a different way to view it, right? Not every single pair will give you, you know, that significant pullback just out of 38.2. Thank you, no problem. Hope you've had a good day today. We might as well just wait for this candle, right? We got 4 minutes. Let's go to the next one. I set up an alarm. Once my alarm sets, I'll go back to it. For EuroCAD, we're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market, right? We already had push number 1, push number 2, push number 3 that went right back to these highs, right? So right now for EURUSD, we know that I'm currently not going to be trading. I'm not interested in looking at EURUSD. Just gonna wait it out, right? On a lower time frame, once we go to the 4-hour, we can see that price still hasn't given us a valid break of these highs just yet, and price is moving sideways. And we'll see that on the 30-minute time frame, where price is just moving sideways. Right, so EURUSD, we'll just keep this updated, but we already know this is not a pair that I will be trading for the next couple days, maybe even next couple weeks. Once we start trending, that's when I'll start looking to take these trades. But right now, price is just moving sideways. There's nothing to trade. There's no trend. For EURUSD, as we've been saying for the last couple days, last couple weeks, very similar to GBPUSD. Right? Once we get to GBPUSD, you guys will see that it's very, very similar. Right? We're on an overall uptrend. We're in level 2 on an uptrend. We have push number 1, the first zone of consolidation. We have push number 2, and right now we're trading at the higher high. We're at the highest point right now in the trend, where once price gave us the set higher high, price decided to just move sideways. So EURUSD is another pair very similar to the other ones that we've talked about, where again, I'm not really going to be looking for any trades when we're in a zone of consolidation. Once we start trending, once we start seeing price giving us higher highs and higher lows, that's when I'll start looking to take these trades again. Right? And we had higher high, higher low, higher high, then price came down and gave us a change of character back down to the bottom. And we can see that price has just been tapping into these lows, just rejecting the lows, hasn't given us a valid break, right? So for now, we'll just keep this updated like this. And we can see that for the day today, price was just moving sideways. Ended up giving us a day of drop, did go lower, but we're just moving sideways, just trapping traders, right? If you were trading this towards the end of Asia session, going into the London session at 3 in the morning, you got faked out, right? Stop loss was hit. If you were trading this in the beginning of the NYC session at 9 in the morning, you had one crazy wick that just tapped everybody out. And if you thought that you were going to get into a trade where price was going to continue the push to the top side, it went right back down to the bottom and hit your stop loss. And this is the reason why I do not trade in these areas, because there is no trend. Again, a zone of consolidation. A lot of people online are not going to give you the definition of a zone of consolidation. Right? A zone of consolidation, yes, is when price is moving sideways. But what is price doing in a zone of consolidation? What are the motives behind a zone of consolidation? A zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders. They're inducing traders to get into a trade to hit your stop loss. And that's exactly what we could see here. If you were trading this during London session, right, you thought price was going to go down. Right? You might have thought price is going to continue this downtrend push, and it went right back to the stop loss. It went back to the top and hit your stop loss. If you were trading this during the NYC session, you thought, well, okay, price gave you an inducement of the low. It gave you a double bottom. It gave you the break of structure. How many traders do you think took this trade here to go back to the top side? And price went right back down to the bottom and hit your stop loss. Right? So you have to be very aware of where you're trading in the market. What cycle are you in? Are you trending, or are you in a zone of consolidation? If you're in a zone of consolidation, you have to let price go. Don't even look for an entry. You know you're going to get hit out. Your stop loss will get hit in a zone of consolidation. So you have to be very careful about taking trades in these areas. And Euro AUD, we've seen that price gave us a nice push, and towards the last couple minutes it went back down. So there's no valid engulfing candle for now for Euro AUD. For GA, right, GA is another pair very similar to ECAD, where we're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market so far. We've already completed our 3 cycles to the top side. We reached our previous peak highs on the left hand side, And as soon as price gave us that push to the top side again, what is price doing? Just moving sideways. There's no trend. Always remember, the trend is your friend. If there is no trend in the market, stay away. There's no trades to be taken. There's nothing you could do here, right? If you took the trade because you're like, oh, we have a 4-hour engulfing candle, I'm gonna go back to the top side. Price went right back down and hit your stop loss. So again, it's very important to understand what areas in the market you're trading in. And price is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. So right now for GA, just gonna wait it out. As soon as we start the downtrend on the daily time frame and on the 4-hour time frame, that's when I'll start looking to take these trades. But for right now, just gotta be patient. We'll wait it out a couple weeks, a couple months, however long it takes. And then we'll start looking to take these trades. Just gotta be patient. And we have a day of drop. Ooh, day of drop. Go on to the next one. For GBPCAD on the daily time frame, once again, what is price doing? Moving sideways. We know that GCAD is in an overall uptrend, right? We have push number 1, the first zone of consolidation, push number 2, the second zone of consolidation, and we're currently in push number 3. We are in level 3, and we're expecting price to reach our previous peak highs all the way up here. So we still have a long way to go for price to continue this uptrend push, right? But currently, what is price doing? Moving sideways, right? We could already see that price has rejected these highs multiple times before. So what am I looking for? Again, in a zone of consolidation, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't look for a trade. It just means you have to wait for price to get into the areas that you need to wait for price to get into to start looking for trades. The only valid trades I'll have on GBPCAD is if price gives us a break and then the retest to then continue to the top side, or if price comes back to the lows and gives us an inducement of the lows to then go back to the top side. So as of right now, the fact that we're at the top of the zone of consolidation and we still don't have a valid break of structure, there's no trades to be taken on GCAD. Just have to be patient. Right? Really nothing to update on the daily, nothing to update on the 4-hour just yet. So we'll go down to the 30-minute time frame. Right? And we can see that we had multiple days where price has been pushing to the top side. We have 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days. Today's the 6th day that price is pushing up to the top side, and it's still uptrending, which is good, right? As soon as price gives us a valid break of these highs, you already know we'll be in there like swimwear. We'll be taking those trades, and we can see that on the 30-minute time frame, we don't even have a valid break of these highs just yet. So I'm not gonna update this as a higher high, higher low, higher high. I'm gonna just keep it like this for now, and then we'll update this tomorrow morning when we're back for the trading session. For GJ, again, very similar to the other pairs, guys. Again, the market conditions that we've been having for pretty much the end of August going into September is the same thing that we've been seeing, or the same thing that we saw back in April and May earlier this year, right? We trended in the beginning of the year from January to April. Cool. From April to the end of May, right? Or pretty much like, yeah, from April to June, price was moving sideways. From June to now, pretty much from June to August, price was trending again. And from the end of August till now, price is back in those consolidating areas. So we just have to be patient. This is nothing new. This is always going to happen. Again, market conditions always change, but there's only two things that the market could do. It could either trend or it could consolidate. If you know that you're in the market conditions where price is consolidating, you have to stay away from the charts. You have to stay away from taking trades. Unless there's something crystal clear, again, like I said and how I explained in the last pair. Unless price gives you an inducement, or unless price gives you a valid break, there's no trades to take, right? And for GJ, we know that we're at the top of the zone of consolidation, where we could see that price has just been inducing traders the entire time. They've just been tricking traders to get into a trade to hit their stop losses. So we just have to be very patient. Very, very, very patient. Right? And for the day for today, what did price do? Just move sideways today. And we already knew that that was going to be a thing. We had a previous 3 days of drop. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. So that's it. You already know the rules. Once you know the rules, it gets very simple. It's very, very simple. After price gives you 3 days of valid movements, you know that the next day, price is either going to do the opposite or is going to move sideways. So that's it. Price just moved sideways today. We're at the top of the zone of consolidation. We could even see on the 30-minute time frame, price is just moving sideways. Rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, going back to the top side, moving sideways in the middle of the zone of consolidation. These are all things that happen every single day on the charts. This is nothing new. We just gotta be patient. As I said earlier, GBPUSD very similar to EURUSD. Why is the first day of drop? Why is the first day of drop a day of drop? I see the gap. The first day of drop, this one. Yeah, I said this in the beginning of the week, right? Where you would want to see the candle open, right? So technically you would say, oh, but price went up. The fact that this is such a big gap, and we know that the end of the day, right? Because this was Friday going into the new trading week, right? Price opened here and it did close here. Right, in the beginning of the week, price opened here and finished down here. So technically speaking, this is still a day of drop. And again, the fact that we have such a huge gap, I'm not gonna mark this as a day of rise based on where the gap opened for the new trading week. If that makes any sense. Let me know if that made sense. Right, if this would have been any other situation where we wouldn't have this gap and it was just a huge green candle to the top side at the end of the day, and then we opened up here, then I would have been like, yeah, this is definitely a day that price pushed up to the top side. But the fact that we see that price close down here and it was just a huge gap that just opened up here for the next trading week, for the next day, right, which was Friday going into Monday, there's just no point in putting this as a day of rise. Or even if this would have happened on a Tuesday going into Wednesday. Let's say that this would have happened in the middle of the week, it would have been the same thing. Alright, cool. Alright, bet. So right now for GJ, there's nothing to trade, nothing to look at. Price is moving sideways. Right, we said that already. GU, same thing, right? We already know price is moving sideways. Right, we had a day of no net, yep. Price is still higher high, higher low, but once again for GU, we're trading at a higher high. We're trading at the highest point right now of the trend in level 2 on an uptrend. So right now we're just expecting price to give us a pullback. Right, I'm either expecting price to give us a pullback into the higher low to then continue back to the top side, or I'll be looking for price to break. At this point, we could look at the internal time frame. If price goes ahead and breaks these highs up here, then we know that we could start looking for price to give us a break, a retest, and we could take these trades here to continue back to the top side. So just gonna be patient with GU. Not really gonna be super interested in trading GU until we get these breaks. Alright, and these breaks were pretty much the 4-hour highs. Right, on the not the 4-hour highs, but the internal time frame of the 4-hour, where we could see that price is just moving sideways. Right, so once we break these highs, then I'll start looking to take those trades. If price decides to just give us the inducement of the high and start downtrending, then it's all good. We'll wait for price to give us a set higher low point. Once we get a set higher low point, that's when I'll start trading it. And pretty much NZD USD is the last pair for the night. We already know that these last couple pairs, US 30, USD CAD, ZAR, gold, Bitcoin, and oil, Oil could be a good one actually. We'll go over oil after NZD USD. But again, NZD USD very similar to the other pairs, right? We're in an overall downtrend. We're in the second zone of consolidation, looking for that third push to the bottom. We're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we're also in a zone of consolidation where on the 4-hour it gave us a nice break of the low, but the fact that we're trading at the low of the daily time frame consolidation is very low probability area to take a trade, right? Aside from that, currently price gave us a change of character back to the top side, higher high, higher low. On the push back to the higher high did not give us a valid break, it gave us the inducement. So NZD USD could be potentially a good trade to look at, potentially. We'll keep an eye on it, but not gonna update this just yet. We'll keep this like this until the live trading session. And then oil gave us 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, we know the market must move sideways or go down. We know that US oil, we had a daily engulfing candle here going short. We're in an overall downtrend, right? We have push number one, first zone of consolidation. We had the break of structure, lower low to the bottom side. We had the lower high. From the push from the lower high going into the lower low, right? Price gave us a zone of consolidation. It gave us a break. It gave us the retest. It gave us that push down to the bottom. Right, it didn't give us a valid break of these lows, where now if we go down to the lower time frame, we could see that, right? Price gave us an inducement of the low and came back up. That's the only thing that I'm looking for on oil, where if price would have given us a valid break of those lows on the 4-hour time frame, I would have felt a little bit more confident in taking these trades. However, same rules apply. Right, we're in our point of interest to start looking for price to go back down. What do I want to see? I want to start seeing now lower time frame, change of characters, and break of structures. Which, if we go to the 1-minute time frame, no, well, no, can't say that this is higher high, higher low, right? Because technically, what lows are we gonna use, right? And we're still in an uptrend, so gonna be patient with US oil. And these other pairs, we'll just go ahead and update them again. US 30 is just in a zone of consolidation, just moving sideways. Not really gonna be messing with this. USD CAD, we're in a zone of consolidation as well, just moving sideways on an overall could be in an overall downtrend, but we're still on a daily higher high, higher low. USD ZAR went down today. Gold, we're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. Price gave us a nice little push to the top side as well for oil, or for gold, I'm sorry. And for Bitcoin, we're in peak high territory again, very similar to US 30. So again, not really a lot to look at, man. But Bitcoin is doing exactly what it has to do. It gave us a rise drop yesterday, gave us a 4th-day push to the top side. Really wasn't expecting that. Gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, and gave us a change of character to the top side. So if price for Bitcoin decides to give us a pullback and then gives us a break of structure of these highs, then we know we'll continue that uptrend push. But if price decides to just give us these inducements and start that downtrend push, then we know we're going to go right back down to the bottom. So just gotta be patient. We'll get our confirmations here in the next couple days, but that's pretty much it for today, guys. Not a lot on our watch list. Really nothing at all on our watch list. AUD CAD is the only pair that I said that we might have. Right? Was it AUD CAD? Might have a nice entry, but I don't think it was AUD CAD. What pair was it? Was it AUD CAD? I don't know. We'll look at it tomorrow morning, guys. There's really nothing on our watch list. All these pairs are just consolidating. All these pairs are just moving sideways. There's really nothing to trade for these next couple days, next couple weeks even, maybe. We just gotta wait for these breaks to happen, man. NZD USD? Oh yeah, after the inducement. Yeah, NU could be a good one. Right, we even have a nice engulfing candle, let's see. No top wick on that 30-minute time frame. But it gave us the inducement of the 30-minute high. So NU could be a good little trade to take. Just gotta wait for a little bit more confirmations. We'll get that. Let's go. Let's see if we have any confirmations on the 15 and the 5-minute. Same engulfing candle, but no top wick. 5-minute time frame, we had higher high, higher low. Again, do I want to say that this is all part of one trend? If we do, then what we really have here is a shoulder head shoulder. Wrong tool. Right, we have a little extended shoulder head shoulder. And we'll be looking for price. Let's see, what time frame does this look better in? The 15? Yeah. How does the 30-minute look? It could be good on the 30-minute too. Yeah, we'll use the 30-minute since the 30-minute is where we had the inducement. Right, little shoulder head shoulder. I want to see price break these lows over here. If price could break these lows, then perfect. We'll be looking for those trades back down to the bottom. Just a little pullback. So that's pretty much it for today, team. Any questions, Kendall? Since you were pretty much Esther, any questions on your side? I know this is your first stream here, but I appreciate you being in here. Any questions at all? I know this sounds pretty confusing, especially for your first time. Trust me, I get it. It looks like Chinese the first time you look at the charts, but I promise you it does get easier. We all start somewhere. I know for me, the first time I looked at the first time I got introduced to trading, this looked like Chinese. It didn't make any sense, but couple years down the line, this is pretty simple. It really is really simple. You just got to put in the time to learn the craft, build the skill set. So free the mind. Yes sir. No questions? All right, no problem. So hope you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Even though if there's no trades tomorrow, I'm still gonna wake up. I'll turn the stream on as well because I haven't done that this week since there's been no trades. I just haven't turned the stream on, but I'll turn the stream on tomorrow morning, even if it's for 30 minutes, even though it's only gonna be for an hour maybe, and we'll have the same conversations we had now, man. So hope everyone has a good rest of their night. See you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out.